Chào mừng các bạn đã đến với buổi talk show ngày hôm nay. Xin chào, đầu tiên mình xin tự giới thiệu, mình là Mít, đồng hành với chúng ta ngày hôm nay là hai diễn giả đến từ phía trường 3D Sense, đó là thầy Justin Schull và anh Won Ju Hang.
Okay, and I also I'm involved in several roles, and basically the overall management of this whole film. It was quite a challenging experience, but it was really, really good. I don't regret doing this. All right. Now, the story was based on the character Richard, okay, it started off with a kid who has social phobia. Okay, so that's how the idea of the story first started. Okay, and then as we debate and discuss and further develop the story, it led down further to the ballet dancer, typical, and we wanted something more interesting to draw a contrast, of why not a security guard who loves ballet. To edit further, and because ballet dancers, they are always, slim and they are, fit. We were thinking, how about that the security guard be round and fat? This whole storyboard, I think it was for 4 to 5 of us that did it. Okay, because in a short film, before we can even begin doing any 3D modeling or even animation and all that, we need to visualize the story out. You see, and this is just one sample of the storyboard. Once we have established the storyboard that we needed, okay, and once the scenes and the camera angles were finalized, then that's where we start doing what we call the 2D animatics. It was very hard for us to really visualize how would he move, since it's going to be round, what kind of moves can he do, what kind of spins and turns would be suitable for him and all that, you see. And we have to we also have to be aware of when he's on the stage, the amount of space he has, and to put in as much information as we can before we even transit into the 3D previs or even animation.
Design principles are also applied, right? Like the protagonist and the antagonist, and the security guard, right? Like feeling a bit Richard, right? Feeling a bit inferior. Yes. So the design language shape is like circular, right? Yes. In shape, and then for Chet, right? You can see that for the concept team, they use something that is more pointy, triangular shape, that's sharp and triangle. It appears like very fierce, right? Very scary.
So this is also another one of the more also an important thing in your pre-production. Is also called the mood board. So the mood board, what it does is to give you the overall feeling of that particular scene. Like you see young Richard, so we try to create the lighting feel of it, you see. So he light falling in the middle of him, and he's looking sad, and we got all these bigger adults in the foreground, and they are all dark as well, to create that kind of negative kind of feeling. So these are some of the like I said, we use references to create the characters, and Richard was inspired by Ho from Kung Fu Panda. The cop and the security guard was from the Mall Cop from Paul Blood. So this is just additional reference to also enhance the character, to give more personality. We need more, to get more ideas and to explore further and to push the character limit as far as we can. So this is just additional stuff like the prop designs, for our characters. Like since Richard is a security guard, we explore on things, to all the logos, the theater security, the kind of material. For security to wear the badge, do we want it to be a metal or do we want it to be more nylon?
So nothing is free, right? In a 3D CG world, everything, including as small as a badge, you have to design.
Yes.
Ooh.
Also called ballet room, which you see on the final concept, which is glowing 3A in the middle. Make the story a bit more richer as the character walks past and he realizes, oh, there's someone there, and then he stops dancing, and to show that he's quite shy and he doesn't want people to know that he's dancing. Yeah, so this is the corridor, okay, the initial concept, okay, initial 3D environment, and then after that we start putting in the materials, additional props, and then go to the final render. Yeah, and these are just a snippet of how the actual Unreal will look like. You know, you have to do frosted glass mats for the door on the left, and on the right you get to see how all the material set up. It's also not something very simple. Our 3D model really just sat there and started connecting things to one another to make sure it works. All right, so this is the security room, the concept. Environment modeling, there's always a blocking phase. Okay, so we just throw in all the props, everything is just in white, and we get to see the first look of it. And when we took a look at it, something just didn't feel right.
So blocking is also a phase where you make sure that the scaling and everything is correct.
Yes.
Like computer screen in relations to the keyboard,
Yes.
the keyboard to the chair, the chair to the table, right? Making sure everything is in proportions.
Yes. Props, you know, then we put into Unreal integration and put into Unreal, and then after that we light it up and we get our final render. For all our characters, we make sure their height, make sure of average human size, and then from there, you know, we try to fit them, the character and the environment closer to each other such that they are more proportionate. Of testing involved as well. So this is just to show how we did rigging. Okay, we use advanced skeleton to hasten our workflow. Okay, so it's actually a plugin that we use in Maya, so it can help automatically set up the bones for us and then put in the controls for us without having to manually create them, and that saves tremendous amount of time. Yeah, so this is just extra slides to show how all this advanced skeleton is being done. So now to like compositing. Okay, basically this is one shot. So this is what you see first, and then after that, this is the more enhanced image field.
This is the part like the compositor put everything together, really, right? The animation, the lighting, you know, bring everything together.
You know, it was so difficult to create all these strands that we wanted, you see, and right, how we actually get his hair to look, you know, complete. We have to use cuts, polygons that we put on the hair, and then we slap on a PNG image, getting the models to create strands of hair, which I think, you know, they will, I think they will go crazy. So this is how, you know, the Golem actually was in Maya, how you where the character actually appears. Okay, and then after that it'll show you where the character is standing and also the sitting position of the character. So one of the problems with the Golem is that sometimes the characters may not be facing the right direction. You know, sometimes to make matter worse also, some of the animations are actually quite weird. So I'm gonna play you some slides, you'll see what I mean. Okay, so if you see there's the lady in the center with the purple dress. Okay, this is just a rendered image of how the character looks like in Unreal. For our production, all our animation, we do our animations in Maya, but we actually export it out and import into Unreal to do the rendering. The thing about Unreal is when we want to try is because, you know, there's this RTX, which is called the real-time rendering, and it helps us quickly, you know, get the whole overall scene, how it all looks like as a complete product. So we're trying to use the advantage of, you know, Unreal Engine's feature. So this is what we call references. So we get the animators who actually act it out. Okay, so you can see that we actually film ourselves acting. On top of that, we also use actual ballet references to give us the idea of how they spin, the body mechanics, how they move, and all those. Yeah. So on top of that as well, we also had to draw like thumbnails, you know, get the proper silhouette that we want, you know, and then from there we also put it into our animation.
From 3D Sense Media School, learn from Singapore.